I'm sure you've had one of those days where nothing is catastrophically wrong, but the weight of everything just sits there like a quiet, heavy blanket of exhaustion. So you do something that on the surface seems counterintuitive, but you get home, you put on your headphones, you open your music app, you scroll past all of the happy, upbeat playlists, you scroll past all the pop anthems, all the energetic Afro beats and workout mixes, and you land on that one playlist. And as the melancholic chords begin and the slow, heartfelt lyrics wash over you, something remarkable happens. You start to feel better, and the tension in your shoulders eases, the lump in your throat softens, and the world for a few minutes feels a little more manageable. But why? Why is it that when we're feeling down, we intentionally reach for something that should make us feel worse? And it feels like it should be emotional self-punishment, yet millions of us do it. We actively seek out art that mirrors sorrow, and in return we get this strange sense of comfort. Now, this isn't just some weird quirk of your personality, and it is not self-sabotage. It is a deeply human response, and when you probe around the science, you find some fascinating and complex reasons for it. This paradox, the pleasure we find in sadness, is not a contradiction at all. It is a hidden feature of our emotional operating system, and it's a biological tool for processing, connecting, ultimately healing. And understanding it doesn't just explain a listening habit, it reveals something fundamental about what it means to be human. So let's start with the central question. How can something that feels sad make us feel so good? And the answer begins with understanding that the sadness you feel from music is not the same kind of sadness you feel from a real-life tragedy. It's what you might call a vicarious emotion. Think about it like watching a tragic movie. You might cry for the characters on screen. You feel their loss, you feel their heartbreak, you feel their remorse, or whatever emotion they're feeling. But in your seat, you're perfectly safe. You know that when the credits roll, you can get up and walk away. The sadness is real, but the threat is not. So the emotion is contained. Right. So sad music functions in a very similar way. It lets you access and experience an emotion without any of the real world consequences. So the lyrics might speak of a devastating breakup, but your relationship is fine. The melody might evoke a sense of loss, but you haven't actually lost anything. So you're like an emotional tourist visiting the landscape of sorrow from the safety of a tour bus. This safe distance is everything. It allows your brain to stop being on the defensive and start processing. In fact, for many people, the primary emotion isn't even sadness. When researchers looked into this, they found that when people listen to sad music, a huge number of them don't report feeling sad at all. Instead, they describe the experience with words like nostalgia, peacefulness, and wonder. There is a specific scientific term for this feeling, kama mutta. It's a Sanskrit term that roughly translates to being moved by love. It is that sudden heart-swelling feeling that comes with chills, goosebumps, or a warmth spreading through your chest, maybe even tears. It's a feeling of connection, of being touched by something profound, and studies have shown that people with high levels of empathy are especially likely to experience this moving sadness rather than just a downer. You're not just hearing notes, you're connecting with the shared human experiences behind them. I've experienced stuff like this many times when I'm watching a movie at, say, 2 a.m. and a very emotional scene comes on. I'm moved to cry because of the emotion in it. But then after the movie, I feel safe because I'm not the one experiencing the emotion. I'm a tourist. So, if our brains know we are safe, what is exactly happening on the biological level that translates a melancholic melody into a feeling of genuine relief? This isn't just a philosophical idea, it's a complex chemical reaction going on in our bodies. When you press play on that sad song, you are essentially acting as your own personal pharmacist. Let's start with a well-known theory which revolves around a hormone called prolactin. Now, prolactin is most commonly associated with milk production in new mothers, but it also plays a powerful role in our psychological well-being. It's a hormone that is released in response to crying, to grief or sorrow, and its job is to provide a sense of consolation and calm. So it's like your body's natural tranquilizer. The theory, which was proposed by music psychologist David Huron, suggests that when your brain hears the auditory cues of sadness in music, the minor keys, the slow tempos, your brain gets tricked. effect. It misinterprets this musical sadness as a sign of a genuine tragedy, and in anticipation, it preemptively releases a comforting dose of prolactin. But then the tragedy never comes. You're just listening to a song. So you're left with this surplus of a calming hormone with no actual pain to apply it to. The result is a net feeling of comfort. However, it's worth noting that when Huron himself and other researchers tried to test this theory by measuring prolactin levels, they couldn't find any evidence to support it. So while it's a compelling idea, the jury is still out. But prolactin, if it is at all involved, it's not acting alone. It's part of a powerful cocktail. Sad music can also trigger the release of another crucial hormone called oxytocin. You've probably heard of this one, and it's often called the bonding hormone. Oxytocin is the chemical foundation of trust, empathy, and social connection. Remarkably, the perceived emotional intimacy of music can be enough to trigger oxytocin. This release of oxytocin helps explain why sad music can be such a powerful antidote to loneliness. And as you listen, the music can feel like a compassionate friend. It doesn't offer cheap advice or try to cheer you up. It simply listens and understands. Research suggests that for many, sad music functions as a kind of imaginary friend, providing simulated social support that makes you feel fundamentally less alone in your experience. But beyond the hormones, the music has a direct physical effect. Slow, steady tempos that are characteristic of most sad songs have a tangible calming effect on your body. Your breathing slows down, your heart rate decreases. The process called entrainment brings your body into a state of psychological calm, and as your body relaxes, your mind often follows. Simultaneously, the music is engaging a specific part of your brain called the medial prefrontal cortex, or MPC. This area is a hub for self-reflection and processing emotion. When it's activated by listening to dissonant or sad music, it's like you're opening up a dedicated neural workspace to think through your feelings. The all-encompassing nature of a powerful song can also be a profound source of distraction from real-life stressors. For those few minutes, the looping anxieties about work, relationships, or the future fade into the background, replaced by sheer focus on the music. Understanding the brain chemistry is one thing, but what's the long-term benefit of this strange habit? Why are we finding pleasure in musical sorrow? The answer is that listening to sad music is an active form of emotional training. Think of it as an emotional gym, a safe, controlled environment where you can exercise your feelings. One of the most powerful functions of this gym is emotional regulation. When you're overwhelmed by a powerful feeling, it can be terrifying to confront it head-on. Sad music then provides a crucial intermediary. It acts as a container for your sadness, and it allows you to examine it and process it without becoming completely consumed in your sadness. This is why many people report feeling a sense of catharsis after a good cry to a sad song. Essentially, you're externalizing the emotion and letting the music carry some of the weight. This process is also an incredibly powerful empathy engine. When you listen to a song and connect with the artist's pain, by simulating, you are practicing empathy. I've also had people tell me they experience this when they listen to my music because I am talking about experiences that they can relate with. So basically, they empathize. By stimulating sadness on this low-stakes environment, you are building the emotional muscles you need to be more compassionate in your own life. And it trains you to recognize and understand suffering both in yourself and in others, which can make you better equipped to handle life's inevitable challenges. Think of it this way: when you understand what people are going through, you treat them better and you make life easier for them. Perhaps the most important psychological benefit, however, is the profound sense of validation that sad music provides. In a world that often encourages us to just be happy, sadness can be an incredibly isolating experience, but then you hear a voice set to a melody singing the exact thoughts that have been circling in your own mind, and in that moment you are no longer alone, just like I said with my music. This is the magic of validation. The song says, I see you, I understand, you're not the only one who is experiencing this, and you are not broken for feeling this way. And this act of being seen is incredibly powerful. We see this in a massive communal way when an artist like Adele releases an album detailing her divorce, and fans don't just listen, they share reaction videos of themselves crying, connecting not just with her but with each other as it relates to the experience that Adele had. They are actually participating in a global act of communal sharing, using the music as a catalyst to say, me too. This connects deeply to another powerful emotion called nostalgia. Sad music is a potent trigger for memories, and while these memories might be tinged with sadness, nostalgia itself is a predominantly positive emotion, and it reinforces our sense of identity and reminds us that our life has a rich, continuous narrative. That sad song isn't just making you think about the past, it's using the past to ground you in the present. So, if sad music is this powerful tool for connection, a chemical agent for comfort, and a private gym for our emotions, it connects us on a deeply human level, right? And that makes me wonder, what is the song that does it for you? What is that one track you turn to when you need to feel understood? What is that song I have done? Or which one of my songs has triggered this emotion for you? Do share that in the comments below. Let's build the ultimate collaborative playlist of cathartic anthems and see what songs connect us all. Reading through the comments on a video like this is a profound experience in itself, and it's a testament to how music weaves through all of our lives. Now, for all of its incredible benefits, we have to be honest and acknowledge that the relationship with sad music isn't positive for everyone. For some people, in some situations, turning on that melancholic playlist isn't healing, it's quicksand. What for one person is a healthy tool can for another become a dangerous feedback loop. The difference often comes down to one key psychological habit: rumination. Rumination is the act of getting stuck on a repetitive, passive loop of negative thinking. And it's the difference between thinking about your sadness to understand it and simply replaying the same sad thoughts over and over and over again like a skipping record. And it is not processing, it's marinating in sadness. For individuals who have a tendency to ruminate, or for those dealing with clinical depression, sad music can actually act as a fuel for this fire. Instead of providing a safe container, it can validate the negative thought loop and encourage you to continue. Scientific studies have found that for vulnerable individuals, frequent listening to sad music while in a bad mood can actually intensify feelings of sadness and depression. In this state, the music doesn't lead to a cathartic release, it just intensifies feelings of hopelessness, and it can perpetuate cycles of negative thinking. It can become a form of emotional self-sabotage where a person subconsciously uses the music to keep themselves in a state of sadness because it feels familiar. So, who is most at risk? Research points to a few groups. Individuals who are naturally prone to rumination are at the top of the list, like adolescents whose emotional regulation skills are still developing can also be particularly vulnerable. Crucially, individuals already experiencing depression may find that sad music perpetuates their symptoms rather than alleviating them. It can also lead to social isolation if listening to the imaginary friend of music consistently replaces reaching out to real-life friends for support. This doesn't mean that sad music is bad, not at all. It simply means it is a powerful tool, and like any powerful tool, it needs to be used with awareness and intention. The key is to be mindful of its effect on you. And after listening, do you feel a sense of relief and clarity, or do you feel more hopeless and stuck? The goal is to use music to visit your sadness, not to build a permanent home there. And if you find that music is consistently pulling you further down instead of helping you understand the way up, it might be time to gently switch your playlist. So let's return to where we began. That is, you at the end of a very long day choosing sadness as a source of comfort. We've journeyed through the intricate chemistry of your brain, from the consoling embrace of prolactin and the connective power of oxytocin to the parts of our minds that handle self-reflection. We've reframed these habits not as a weakness, but as a sophisticated strategy for emotional regulation, empathy building, and profound self-validation. We've also acknowledged that this powerful tool requires mindfulness. The act of loving sad music is not a flaw, it is a feature. It is a sign of an emotional system that is working exactly as it should be. And if you have this emotional system, then I'm happy to say that you are a functional human being. It is an indicator of your empathy, of your capacity for deep feeling and self-reflection. In a world that can often feel noisy and emotionally shallow, your ability to be moved by a melancholic melody is a testament to your depth as a human being. You're not weird for crying to a song. You are human. And so this is the solution to the paradox. We don't listen to sad music just to feel sad. We listen to feel understood, to connected to each other, a sense of beautiful, tragic, wonderful humanity. And the songs are like mirrors, reflecting our own inner worlds back at us so we can finally see them clearly. They are bridges connecting our private sorrows to a universal shared experience of humanity. The next time you find yourself scrolling through your library looking for that one song that just gets it, know what you are truly doing. You're not just distracting yourself. You're not wallowing. You are engaging in an even ancient and deeply necessary human ritual. You are processing your world, building resilience, and connecting with the vast, invisible community of everyone who has ever felt the way you do right now. You're not just listening to a sad song, you're listening to the anthem of your own beautiful, complex, and deeply feeling humanity. And we see you.